My name is Chris Kroll, and a couple months ago I started this group, and I see a lot of familiar faces, so thank you all for coming back. The mission of our organization is, our group is for families with advanced learner or gifted children who live in or attend school in Loudoun County. And we support the next generation of innovators and problem solvers by educating parents on how best to address the special needs of their children. So this is what we do. Okay, next we're going to, that's a good transition into talking about athletics and physical fitness. Dr. Karen Varblow is with us. She's a pediatrician, and Karen specializes in attention and executive function disorders. And she is going to talk to us tonight about the importance of physical fitness for gifted children. Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Chris. Can you all hear me okay? No. No. So does that mean that? Probably doesn't mean do that. Does it mean that? Is that better? Okay. You guys have been really hanging in there tonight. Thank you so much. I want to just kind of repeat something that's already been done, but it'll feel good. Can everybody just stand up again, please? I didn't know somebody else was going to do this. I just want you guys to stretch a little bit. It's just, reach up to the sky, stretch, swing your arms around, wiggle. Okay. How's that feel? Good. Yeah? You feel a little bit more alert? Okay. You may sit. Thank you for indulging me. I appreciate it. So when Chris asked me to talk about physical fitness in gifted kids, I wasn't at first really sure what to talk about, because I don't really think in most ways that gifted kids have particular physical fitness needs, or that there's some reason that gifted kids should be more physically fit than their neurotypical counterparts. So I wasn't really sure what to talk about, frankly. But you know, there's been some research that's been done lately on some things that are sort of related to fitness. Green time. I know you guys know about screen time. Does anybody know about green time and what that's all about? So green time is the amount of time that you spend outside, in the grass, around the trees, walking through the woods, in nature. And it's been shown to be helpful to have some green time every day for your mental fitness as well as your physical fitness. It just, the way that stretch felt and sort of woke you up a little bit, made you feel a little bit more alert, green time can do the same thing. And that's important for everybody, but we'll get into it in a minute. We'll get to why it's important for gifted kids. The other thing I thought about with relation to physical fitness is screen time. Okay, what are our kids doing when they're not outside enjoying the green time? A lot of them, screen time, right? Does anybody know what the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends in terms of daily allotment of screen time? 30 minutes. 2 hours. 2 hours. And that means all TV, computer, video games, everything all combined. Every minute that you're in front of a screen, that counts. And they recommend no more than 2 hours a day. And I know that a lot of the kids that we're talking about tonight, if given the opportunity, would go down the rabbit hole of screen time and spend a lot more than 2 hours a day there. Stressing physical fitness is a way to get them out of that rabbit hole and away from the screen and giving their brain something different to do. Okay. Another thing that happens just sort of by accident when you're out getting physically fit is often you find yourself socializing. You're on a baseball team with some other kids, or you're in a gymnastics class with some other kids. You're out doing things and you run into people. Even if you're out jogging by yourself, you see other people jogging, walking their dogs, playing, whatever. You interact with people, you interact with the world, you see the world. Very key. The kids that are kids, gifted kids in general, I think, are at risk for going down whatever their rabbit hole of the day is. Whether it's learning everything there is to know about the planet Mars, whether it's really, really getting into this whole concept of long division with multiple numbers in the numerators and denominators and whatever it is that is their rabbit hole du jour, there's this really cool propensity to just go down it and really just eat it up. And that's awesome. But as we talked about in the last meeting, we are sort of given the job of creating healthy, happy adults. And what we all know as adults is that you have to have balance in your life. And if you don't have balance in your life, you're just not going to be a happy, healthy person. So we have to start teaching our kids now how to create balance in their lives. And spending all of your time down your rabbit hole du jour does not give you a balanced life. So getting outside, getting away from the screen, getting out into the green, all creates a more balanced life, a happier, healthier person. Okay? Anybody here a distance athlete or an endurance athlete? What do you get out of it? It's a loaded question, but I mean.
Everything. Stress reliever. My best friends are my training partners, and with it, I found I get to travel a lot, go to new places, and now in return we've taken our family to those new and different places.
Neat. Anybody else? An endurance athlete, long distances? One of the things that I think endurance athletics can give you is rhythm. If you run, if you swim, if you bike, if you ride horses, whatever it is, if you do it long enough, you get a rhythm. And neat things happen when you're in that rhythm. And while on one hand I've said that it's nice to get out of your rabbit hole and get out and do different things, there is a benefit to rhythm when you're working through something, whether it's a personal issue or whether it's that whole long division thing. You get out there and a mile whatever, and you're in your groove, things become clear. You know, I work, as Chris said, I work with kids with executive function and attention deficit issues, and getting clarity is really important. And it's important, I think, for gifted kids too, because sometimes that rabbit hole just doesn't give you clarity. But you get a rhythm going, and things just become much easier and much clearer. So while it's important for everybody to be physically fit because it just makes you a healthy person, and you live longer and, you know, don't have as many sort of aches and irks and many days in the miserable hospital and whatever in your life, right? It's nice to be healthy, but I think there are particular benefits to a healthy lifestyle for gifted kids. It gets them out of their rabbit hole in some ways, but it also helps them work through their problems in other ways. It gets them out in the green, away from the screen, and teaches them balance. And the sooner we do that, I think the more benefit they're going to have from that lesson throughout their entire lives. So a simple, kind of quick, easy thing. I probably didn't use my 10 minutes, but does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
Have there ever been any studies about winter time? Because the kids get out of elementary school, they're picked up by the Taekwondo bus, they're taken inside, they don't get home till 5:30, it's pitch black,
Right.
They can't go outside. Have there been any studies of winter time as opposed to summertime, or the kids calmer? Have they ever
Interesting
checked that out?
question.
Our kids do not see the outside.
Right.
Because when school ends, when the bus picks up, the working mothers don't even see the kids till 5:36.
Right. I just heard something today, I think on NPR maybe. I'm not going to be able to come up with the reference, but about people who get up earlier in the morning in the wintertime, so they do get the benefit of at least some morning sunlight, and that improves mood. So yes and no. I mean, I don't know of any research personally on children in the wintertime and how that relates, but certainly people with mood disorders and mood issues, seasonal affective disorder, is something that can happen to adults or children when they don't get the sunlight that they need. And then in the dreary sort of winter seasons, depression is more common. So there's no reason why that wouldn't apply to our gifted kids as well as anybody else. Yeah.
So how do you motivate them to actually go outside? That's the biggest challenge. challenge we
Great question, because they're in their rabbit hole, right? I don't want to give up my screen. Why would I give up my screen? Or whatever. Right, with that, right.
Essentially, if we try and get into a variety of things, maybe something to pick, and that's going to be the strategy, but there are other thoughts.
Great question. So the community, right? What you want to do is find out what's in it for the child. My first job when I graduated from college was working with high school and middle school kids who were already in drug rehab. And they didn't want to be there. I learned very early, you got to find what's in it for them, right? To find out something that's going to be in it for him to get him out of the house, away from the screen, away from the books. And whether that's making new friends or meeting friends, whether it's, as our chess expert talked about, sort of the teaser of what's to come next week, what you're going to learn from it next week, get them back there again and again. Family time, whether it's the family goes out for a walk together every night after dinner, and it's just not optional, we're going, and then you make it fun. It's got to be fun for them to learn to incorporate that into their lifestyle every day. And so whatever it is that's fun for him, find a way to work that into the exercise or the green time.
The family pet is also a really great one, especially if they love animals.
Yes.
Get them involved in the training. Most people do not have trained dogs.
Yeah.
And it's great. Kids love training animals. They love working with animals. And so if you get them out with your obese dog and actually get them out and teach them how to sit and how to stay and how to do that, it can really help them. A lot of girls especially love ponies. Girls love ponies. They love ponies. And you're in Loudoun County.
Right.
Don't buy the pony.
Yeah.
You will never be able to get rid of the pony, but they love that. And yes,
Yep.
it will require you to take them to the barn and do
Right.
that. They
Right.
love that stuff.
Right.
They eat it up.
Or a bike ride to the local ice cream shop, right? Something's in it for them. They don't really care about the bike ride. They want the ice cream. Fine, let's ride our bikes. Let's go. Whatever it is. Okay, yeah.
Curious about the connection with attention issues, executive function issues, and anxiety. I mean, a little bit of a chicken and egg situation, right?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And certainly to the extent that exercise is a great stress reliever, addresses the anxiety piece. So I should repeat the question. The question is the connection between anxiety and attention deficit and how they can play on each other and chicken egg each other. My feeling about that is that there are sort of two ways to, and I could spend lots of time on this. There are kind of two ways to end up anxious if you have ADHD. One is that you just naturally have the the anxiety sort of genes, the same way you have the ADHD genes. You're just wired that way, you're born that way. The other is that living with ADHD that's undiagnosed, untreated, is really living in a world where the tail wags the dog. Okay? You cannot trust yourself to behave in accordance with your own moral code. That's a horrible way to live, and as a child to not understand it. I know better than to draw all over the inside of the car. Why did I draw all over? The impulse control, on and on and on, and that leads to anxiety. So sometimes when we treat the ADHD and get that managed appropriately, the anxiety just sort of dissolves. And by saying really treat the ADHD, I mean incorporate community, incorporate the exercise, incorporate the energy, all of the treatment. Sometimes we do all of that and the anxiety is still there, and that's because sometimes it's just there. It's just part of the wiring. Any other questions? Thanks for your time.